All right, I'm shooting this in 2 days, so if you see two wardrobe changes, is that a thing? Don't freak out. All right, but today's thought is 8 things I've learned after 8 years of teaching. In 8 years of teaching. Working title. But first, I'm gonna tear this room up. There you have it. First wardrobe change, and we're clearly in the second day. Now let's discuss the 8 things I've learned in 8 years of teaching. After 8 years of teaching, still a working title. Number 1, since day 1, all I've heard is be patient and be flexible. I'm like, well, I'm a patient person. And working with special needs, you have to be a patient person. But what I have learned is that it's not so much patience with the kids all the time. Sometimes you need patience with your coworkers, patience with schedule changes, patience with just anything that is gonna come up. And this is where your flexibility comes, because you have to learn to change the routine, jump into action with whatever's gonna happen. You had a plan for that day. Well, guess what? It's not gonna happen. Be patient and be flexible, and a lot more than what you think you need it to be. Number 2, I've heard this saying, there's no such thing as a bad kid. Yes, there's that one kid that makes your day super, super tough and you wish he or she will be absent, and they never are. But the thing is, there's gotta be a reason why they're acting in that way. A lot of times they're desperate for that love and attention because they're not getting it from somewhere else. So they're acting out in a way that gives them some attention, and usually it's in a negative fashion. So you have to figure out how to turn that into a positive. And you know, sometimes it's gonna be a tough year, no matter what you do. I think this year, the school made a huge impact on these tough kids. In general, everybody I work with, they all made some positive impact on a tough kid. Number 3, be organized. Well, I think I'm still learning on this one. Organization, I'm organized in my own way, but if you look at my mess, it's not organized at all. But I know where everything is. I know my important files, my classified files, I know where I store them, so that's taken care of. But and if you do walk into my room, it's usually my desk area is usually a mess. So maybe I need to be a little more organized there. So organization helps with the tons of paperwork that you're gonna have, and that's what I learned when I first started. My organization skills. It was. I shredded some really important paper one time because I thought it was like trash, because I just grabbed a whole bunch. Be organized. Number 4 is to be on. You have to just be on, even when you don't feel like it. Oh, and there's days where you just really don't feel like it. But you gotta be on. You gotta walk through those doors and be ready to go. Why? Because kinder through third, you know, they need you. They need that emotional connection. They need you to be at your very best, because that's, you know, they're still learning. They just need it. They crave it. They rely on you. They rely on your best. And 4th and up, 4th to 12th grade, they feed off your negativity. If you're negative, they're gonna feed off of it. And you know what? They're gonna eat you alive. So yeah, be on. You gotta be on for these kids. You know, there's so many distractions nowadays. They got their phones, they got their iPads, they got their Logan Pauls and Jake Pauls. They got all this stuff going on, and you have to outshine that. You have to hold their attention day in and day out for all these hours. They're sitting at your desk, at their desk. Hopefully they're not sitting at your desk. They're sitting at their desk. Be on, even when you don't feel like it. This next one, number 5, it didn't take me long to learn it, but it's easy to forget. When you're working with kids, don't be so quick to blame the parents. It's not always the parent's fault that they're acting out. You know, maybe the parent has tried everything they can. Maybe they're relying on you in some sort of fashion to figure out a solution on why their child is acting in this fashion. Or maybe, you know what, maybe they really don't act that way at home. Sometimes they do, okay? The parent sometimes knows, but sometimes they don't act that way. And also, if they're an only child, they're competing with 20 other kids now. So that could be a reason why they're acting out, you know, competing with 20 other kids. If they forget something, if they forget their homework, they forget permission slip, something they needed to sign, something that needed to be turned in, the report card, whatever it is. Maybe the parent really did just forget. Maybe the parent is working 12 hours a day and they forgot to sign that paperwork. It's tough. It's tough out there for a lot of them, and they're trying their best to provide for their child, and they send their child to school hoping that what they're missing, that they can get from school. So they're relying. Make the parent your partner. Become a team. Let them know you're there for them as much as you need the parent to be there for you. Because ultimately, both of you are there for the child, for the student. Don't be so quick to blame the parents. We have no idea what everybody's struggling with. Number 6. Now this one can be quite funny. I've learned that kids really do say the weirdest things. Now, sometimes it's really important information that you need to take to heart, and sometimes it's not stuff that you want to hear because it's stuff you will have to report. But sometimes they'll say the funniest things though. They will tell you everything and anything. Sometimes it's way too much information, but it's funny. So parents, careful what you do around your kids because their teacher will know. And at the same time, I know lots of parents that will tell me all the weirdest things that I do in class. Like I go up there and I'm just like happy. I'm you know, like I said, I have to be on for these kids. So I don't mind looking weird and doing little dance moves or singing or whatever I have to do to get the kids' attention so they can learn. They go back home, they say, my teacher does this. I've talked to some of my parents and say, hey, so you listen, they make fun of me and I love it, it's hilarious. And that's another way I bring the parents and the student and myself together to become a team. You know, we have a laugh. And usually it's at the expense of my weirdness, but I'm okay with that. Number 7, I didn't realize I've learned it. I guess I do it so often that it's not something I think about. But it's been brought to my attention more than once. And that's that having understanding for the student, having empathy, putting yourself in the student's feelings, not so much their shoes, but their feelings. Why? And then thinking about when you were a kid and you were in that situation, what did you want the teacher to do? So most of the times they're trying to make friends, you know, at least in my case, a lot of the time, my kids with special needs, they're trying to make friends. So what I do in that sense is I hang out with them. I go out to recess and I play basketball or whatever they're playing, and eventually other kids want to hang out with me and I say, well, I'm hanging out with so-and-so, and you know, that brings the friendship together. I think the best advice that I can say where I've learned is to put yourself in their feelings. When you do that, you make a relationship with the student, and that relationship, whether you know it or not, it goes a long way. This is definitely one that I would want others to take a moment and see if they can do that, put themselves in that situation to understand, have empathy, and just think about what you would have wanted. All right, number 8, last one. This is where dare to be weird comes into play. I always try to end the videos with dare to be weird, and I know if I get on a few people, what does that mean? What does that, you know, or what do you mean about being weird? I've explained it a few times in other social media platforms, but I don't know if I've fully gotten into it on YouTube. And today I want to explain it for y'all. Dare to be weird came from students that would come to me, and I work with kids with special needs. So unfortunately, in some of their behavior, some aspects, whatever, other students started calling them weird. They would come to me feeling awful, just upset, crying, not feeling good about themselves, or not understanding why they're being called weird, because to them they're not weird, and they're just trying to make friends. They're just trying to get themselves involved with the other students and what they're doing. So instead of having to explain everything about why, and so it was very tough for me to explain to them maybe why they were being called weird, and it really still is. It's because how do you tell them that they're not weird, but then tell them why other people might think they're weird? I don't know. Maybe somebody out there can explain that to me. But the way I used it was, you know what? Everybody is weird. Everybody. If you really think about it, everybody's weird. Why? Because we're all different. We're all working in different capacities. Some of us are good at reading. Some of us are good at math. Some of us are not good at either, and we're good at other things. Some of us like to dance, and we dance funny. Some of us don't like wearing blue jeans. Some of us don't like wearing socks. It's just, we're all weird in some way or fashion. So you know what? When somebody calls you weird, be proud of it. You should dare to be weird, because you know what? Why be the same as anybody else? Why be the same as somebody else? You are meant to be you, and that makes you weird. I am meant to be me, and that makes me weird. That guy or girl that called you weird, they're weird on their own. Because you know what? They're not like you, so they're weird. They do something. We're all weird in one way or another. And therefore, dare to be weird. Dare to just do your thing. So that's what I've learned in 8 years of teaching. And I think number 1 is as important as number 8. Even though I hold number 8 close to heart. Because daring to be weird is what's gonna make us stand out. So on that note, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please hit the like button. We would love to have you around for other videos, so hit that subscribe button, check out our vlogs, and with that said, dare to be weird. Bye-bye.